Current as of early February 2026. I've pulled the latest on the SEC Ripple case and the massive Epstein files drop. 1. SEC lawsuit against Ripple, XRP. Was it to block their Bitcoin success? Started December 2020. SEC accused Ripple Labs of raising over $1.3 billion selling XRP as an unregistered security. Key 2023 ruling. Judge said programmatic, public exchange, XRP sales weren't securities, but institutional sales were. Big partial win for Ripple. Final outcome 2025. Both sides dropped appeals. Settlement landed at $50 to $125 million fine. Reports vary, but Ripple paid around $50 million net after refunds. Case fully closed by mid-2025, giving XRP clearer regulatory path. XRP price reaction. Surged post-settlement, hitting over $3 at peaks. Suppression theory, SEC targeting Ripple to favor Bitcoin. This floats around crypto circles, but no solid evidence backs it. The suit focused on Ripple's sales practices, not a plot against XRP to boost Bitcoin. Some see it as SEC overreach on crypto in general, but Bitcoin wasn't directly involved. Here are some shots of Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse during the fight. He was vocal, calling out the SEC, and a courtroom vibe from the case coverage. 2. Epstein files. The 3+ million pages released, January 30, 2026. DOJ dropped over 3 million pages, plus thousands of videos, images. Biggest release yet, pushed by the Epstein Files Transparency Act, signed by Trump in late 2025. Trump's mentions. His name pops up thousands of times. Reports say 1,000 to 3,000 plus. Mostly old social ties from the 90s through 2000s. Flight logs, events, emails. Key points. No new smoking gun evidence of Trump in criminal acts or trafficking. Some docs mention unproven, sensational claims from 2020-era tips. FBI called them unreliable. Old photos show them together at parties. Other names, Clinton, Prince Andrew, Musk, etc. But focus stays on associations, not new crimes. Overall, lots of historical context. Redactions still protect victims, but nothing explosive changed the public narrative much. Here are some relevant visuals. Old photos of Trump and Epstein from events, plus new shots of the file release, and a doc-heavy news graphic from the release. That's the full picture, no half measures. Anything specific you want to zoom in on? For any Epstein crypto links right now. No direct evidence ties Epstein to investing in Bitcoin specifically through MIT, but he did funnel money into Bitcoin-related stuff via MIT connections. He partnered with Joi Ito, then MIT Media Lab director, to invest about $500,000 in Blockstream's 2014 seed round, a major Bitcoin infrastructure company. Epstein also helped fund Bitcoin core devs during a 2014 crisis through MIT-linked channels like the Digital Currency Initiative. Here's a shot of Joi Ito from those MIT days. He resigned in 2019 over the Epstein scandal. On the big question, did Epstein have the SEC sue Ripple, or any proof he went after them to protect Bitcoin? Nope. No smoking gun in the files. The January 30, 2026 release, over 3 million pages, shows Epstein got copied on 2014 emails where Blockstream's Austin Hill called Ripple and Stellar bad for the ecosystem and threats to Bitcoin-aligned plans. Hill basically said supporting them made you an enemy. Epstein was just on the recipient list. He didn't write it, direct it, or act on it. Ripple's David Schwartz, Joel Katz, commented it's proximity, not control. No evidence Epstein influenced the SEC suit, which started in 2020, long after. Ripple execs flat out deny any real link. This fuels XRP community theories about early Bitcoin maximalist sabotage, but it's all speculation. Files show Epstein networked in crypto. He also backed Coinbase, talked Sharia coin, etc. Not that he orchestrated attacks. Here's a classic XRP versus Bitcoin rivalry graphic for context. Bottom line, Epstein was a connected investor in Bitcoin circles, not a puppet master against Ripple. No files prove he triggered the SEC case. It's a stretch. Anything else jump out? Pulling the latest on Epstein files names. Rundown on the high-ranking officials and prominent figures named in the massive January 30, 2026 DOJ Epstein files release. Over 3 million pages. These are the big ones pulled from reports. No full exhaustive list exists because the docs are huge and many mentions are incidental. Social ties, emails, or flight logs, not new crimes. Most are associations from years ago, with redactions for victims. Key high officials and notables mentioned, in no particular order. Donald Trump, thousands of mentions, mostly old social ties, flight logs, emails sharing news, no new criminal evidence. He signed the Transparency Act, pushing the release. Bill Clinton, frequent flyer on the plane, photos from events, denied knowledge of crimes, agreed to testify in Congress if needed. Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, hundreds of mentions, emails about dinners, photos, settled old lawsuit, calls for him to testify. Peter Mandelson, British politician, emails, payments noted, resigned from Labour Party and faced police probe over links. Miroslav Lajcek, former Slovak diplomat, UN Prez, photos and meetings, resigned as security advisor. Larry Summers, ex-Treasury Secretary, mentioned in docs. George J. Mitchell, former U.S. Senator, old allegations, denied, scholarship renamed. Ehud Barak, former Israeli PM, frequent contact post-2008. Sarah Ferguson, British royal, emails about debts and advice, cut ties. Princess Mette Marit, Norwegian royal, increased scrutiny from mentions. Business and tech billionaires and big names also pop up a ton. Elon Musk, emails about potential island visits, denied happening. Bill Gates, photos and associations. Richard Branson, emails inviting Epstein to island. Howard Lutnick, island visit in 2012, emails. Steve Tisch, hundreds of mentions, emails about connections. Sergey Brin, planned dinners. Casey Wasserman, flirty emails with Maxwell. Others like Steve Bannon, Peter Thiel, and Brett Ratner show up in emails or photos too. Bottom line, these are mostly historical networks, lots of guilt by association chatter, but no bombshells tying them directly to crimes in this batch. Some led to resignations or probes, but DOJ says no new prosecutions. Here are a few visuals from the coverage, new shots of key figures and file stacks. That's the main crew. Want details on anyone? Got it. Visuals are missing. Let me fix that. Sorry about that. Looks like the visuals didn't load before. Here they are now, pulled straight from the latest coverage on the Epstein files and the Ripple SEC stuff we talked about. First, classic old photos of Trump and Epstein together at events in the 90s, early 2000s, shows the social ties mentioned in the docs. Then, Bill Clinton associations, flight logs and party pics from the files. Prince Andrew with Epstein and Maxwell, the infamous one that's been everywhere. The actual file release, stacks of docs and news shots from the January 2026 drop. And for the Ripple side, Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, testifying, plus the SEC case courtroom vibe. These should show up clear now. Scroll through them. Anything specific you want more of? Checking the latest on Epstein files and Ripple or Stellar. Spot on. Ripple, XRP, and Stellar, XLM, aren't named in any negative, criminal, or shady way in the January 30th, 2026 Epstein files release. The only mentions are super minor and historical. A 2014 email chain where Blockstream's Austin Hill, a Bitcoin guy, vents to Epstein, who's just copied on it, that supporting Ripple or Stellar is bad for the ecosystem they're building, basically calling them rivals or threats to Bitcoin plans. It's third-party chatter, not Epstein pushing anything bad against them. Ripple's ex-CEO, David Schwartz, Joel Katz, straight up said it. No connections, no meetings, no evidence anyone from Ripple or Stellar ever dealt with Epstein or his circle. He called it just proximity through shared investors back then, nothing more. No bad stuff like fraud, sabotage plots, or anything tying them to Epstein's crimes. It's all crypto industry beef from over a decade ago. XRP community spun some theories, but the files don't back any real dirt. Here are some key visuals to show what we're talking about. First, David Schwartz's tweet clarifying zero links, direct from the source, and another shot of him addressing the rumors. The file release itself, stacks of redacted docs, no bombshells on crypto projects, some coverage graphics playing up the conspiracy angle, but remember, it's hype. Bottom line, nothing bad named against Ripple or Stellar, just old email drama. Want to dig into any part more? Checking the Epstein files for any Bitcoin criminal mentions. No, nothing criminal about Bitcoin shows up in the January 30th, 2026 Epstein files release. Same as with Ripple and Stellar. The DOJ and reports are clear. No evidence Epstein used crypto for money laundering, fraud, or any illegal stuff. No wallets, no shady blockchain transactions, no ties to his crimes like trafficking. What does pop up is just Epstein's early investor, networking side in crypto. He put about $500,000 into Blockstream's 2014 seed round, Bitcoin infrastructure company. Some emails mention him chatting about Bitcoin founders or ideas like a Sharia coin. He funded Bitcoin devs indirectly through MIT ties during a rough patch. Mentions of early Coinbase investment or connections to folks like Peter Thiel, Michael Saylor, Adam Back, mostly social or investment proximity. All of it historical networking from Bitcoin's early days. No accusations, no proof of wrongdoing. DOJ straight up said investigators found zero criminal crypto activity linked to him. Community chatter, especially XRP side, spins conspiracy theories, but the files don't back any of that up. Here are some visuals from the coverage, news graphics on Epstein's Bitcoin ties, headlines from the release, and related crypto shots. First, graphics on Epstein's Blockstream investment and early Bitcoin links. Then, headlines and file release stacks highlighting the crypto angle, no crime mentioned, and a bit of Bitcoin market vibe context from recent news. Crypto's been buzzing, but Epstein stuff is just old gossip. Bottom line, Bitcoin comes out clean here. No criminal mentions at all. Just an old rich guy dabbling in early crypto like a lot of people did. Anything else on this?